Welcome back to the second video in my Demonspawn Stone Soup series. We're playing as a Demonspawn Enchanter, and we've just finished with Dungeon 2. We were about to head downstairs to Dungeon 3. But before I do, I actually want to look at some of my... I have all these items, I don't know what they do yet, unidentified scrolls and potions. So it's sort of good practice, or something I like to do. Some good players do it a little differently, some do it about the same. To read your unidentified scrolls in a cleared level, because sometimes they can be like, make a really loud noise, and you want to make sure there are no like enemies on the floor when you read them. So we're looking for this, scroll of identify. It's great. So now we know that these scrolls with this name are, identify. We don't have to remember that. The game will no longer show us the made-up letters. It'll say this is scroll of identify. So now we can pick anything in our inventory to find out what it is, and so I'm going to use. I'm going to do that on some potions, Potion of mutation. So we could drink that and gain some random mutations. It's a good way to sort of gamble on like, hey, maybe you get a good mutation like claws or something, but maybe you get a bad mutation like you're stupid. You lose some intelligence. And I'm generally not a fan of random mutations unless I feel like my game is going pretty badly and I need luck to win. So I'm just going to drop that. If I had any more scrolls of identify, I would read them, but I don't. So I'm going to just read this scroll, see what it is. Remove curse. That's good to know about. Finding cursed equipment early can be really crippling. And if I know I have a scroll of remove curse, I can more comfortably try things on. Right now I don't. I just read my last one, but I'll find some more soon enough. And I have these potions. I could like drink some of them at random and find out what they are, but they could be bad, like that potion of mutation I just dropped. Or they could be valuable resources that I don't want to waste. So ideally, I would like to identify potions by reading a scroll. So we're out of scrolls to identify. Let's go downstairs. Wow, antennae 3, you can see pretty far away. Okay. That's good to know. As I said, I wish I knew as much as Ashen's would tell me, like if it's a difficult enemy or not. But you take what you can get, I suppose. That's basically all antennae gives you, is the ability to sense things far away and to see invisible stuff later. So there's 2 enemies here, which I don't love. And they're both going to see me when I round the corner. Okay, but one of them was asleep, and neither of them is terribly dangerous. This is just a little rodent guy. And here's a cockroach. Fine, go to sleep, die. So that's a lot of crawl, and I think a lot of roguelike play in general is you're playing most of the time quite quickly because you can't just like you can't afford all of your attention all the time. I was playing very slowly in the first video and fairly slowly in the second because I'm explaining things and I'm treating this as practice for a tournament. I don't want to die, but you just really can't play that slowly all the time. You'll go mad, and games will take forever. So a lot of the skill in playing a game like this well is in recognizing when there's a dangerous situation that you need to stop playing quickly for. Notice I've been closing the door before resting because these jackals are too stupid to open doors. They're just dogs, right? And I didn't want to be caught out by another jackal while I was resting up. So just you need to recognize dangerous situations as quickly as possible so you can slow down. And the rest of the time, you just sort of want to tab through. So that's sort of slang because in Crawl, the tab key just sort of automatically attacks the closest thing. And you can use it to just sort of fight when you don't think the fight is very hard. So we identified another potion. It's lignification. That's a valuable resource in the early game. It temporarily turns you into a tree. Like, seems kind of silly, and I think it is kind of silly, but trees are very sturdy. You have a lot of armor and a lot of hit points. What is this all about? So this giant stone area here. So as I said, like stone sort of indicates vaults, pre-made vault. A door leading nowhere strongly indicates that like the dungeon generator built this passageway and put a door in it, and then it decided I got to put a vault right here, and so the door just goes nowhere. So there's something really big going on down there. I'm hopeful that it's like a miniature temple where we could find altars to a bunch of gods. Aha, Quaslal, very funny. So he's the god of... we're just finding every god who's completely unsuitable for our character. Quaslal is even worse than the Shining One, maybe? He is the god of... I mean, he's a strong god. I would pick him on a lot of characters, but not this one. He's the god of like making a gigantic noise and storms. So, you know, when you go around, you're in the middle of a storm cloud all the time, you know, lightning and thunder and fire and all this stuff blowing up everywhere. And it's just really bad if your goal is to sneak up on people like ours is. So, you know, we could pray here. There's this little tornado going on, you know, hey, or I don't have to move that, right? I can do this. Yeah, there's a tornado. Great, right? Cool altar, but not for us, sadly. You know, I like to take the first altar that's at all reasonable for my character. And we found 2, and usually almost anything is reasonable, but those 2 are really bad. Other things that are really bad include falling through a shaft. So we stepped onto a trap that we couldn't see, and we've fallen down from Dungeon 3 to Dungeon 5, where we are significantly underpowered to fight the stuff here. Some of the stuff here we can probably kill. Some of it we really don't want to. So I'm going to try to find stairs up instead of stairs down, get us back to Dungeon 3 where we belong, so I can kill the weaker enemies there and gain enough power that I'll feel comfortable on Dungeon 5. So here we've got, I was headed for this wand. Wands are pretty valuable. You know, it depends on your character. But some of them are very valuable for any character. This one's probably garbage, you know, but it could be good. And I found a scorpion, which they are fast, I think. No, they're not fast. So we could just run away from them if we had to. And they hit quite hard with poison. And I don't really have any way to deal with that right now. So I'm just going to say, like, look, let's not go near the scorpion. It means we can't get the wand, but... you know, tough luck. Let's go. We're down in Dungeon 5, and we're fighting for our lives. Worker Ant doesn't hit as hard, does hit with poison. He's faster than a normal player, so we couldn't even run away from him if he woke up. So it's good that we have some stealth. We might be able to kill him, just put him to sleep. You never know, but I'd rather not. So this giant frog zombie, undead can't be put to sleep, which is why I picked up Confuse. I need to remember to learn Tukima's dance once I'm done with this fight. So I can confuse him, and they have pretty low magic resistance, so the odds are good that we'll be able to confuse him in 1 of 2 or 3 tries. But I'm going to pull him to someplace quiet first. Throw a rock, maybe. I can't put him to sleep, of course, but I can confuse him. He resisted. I miscast. Great. Just great. So let's just attack him while we regain some magic. And confuse again. Okay, we got him. So now he like doesn't know where we are to attack us, and we have a chance of getting a stab. Like when he's asleep, you're guaranteed a stab. When he's confused, you just might get one. So we got him. Orc. This is why I wanted to learn Tukima's dance. So let's grab that while I still can. It's going to be great at dealing with guys that have weapons, like orcs. But I'd rather just not fight an orc. That would be even better, you know? Why did I not get a... I should have gotten a message about detecting this enemy. Why did I not get one? That's weird. Okay, well, he's dead. Another vault here. Lava. What does that sound like? That sounds like maybe a vault to Mokleb, an altar to Mokleb. Could be Trog. Rue. All right. Rue's pretty good. Yeah, I'll take Rue. So Ru is the god of self-sacrifice. Many gods require you to do like certain things when you're in their service. Like, a lot of gods just want you to kill stuff, but Dithmenos is the god of shadows and he hates fire, so you can't use any fire. But Ru, he's all about making you make sacrifices, make yourself weaker somehow. So feel free to pause the game if you want to read what Ru's flavor here is. Pause the video, rather. I'm just going to go ahead and join him. And so basically, you gain piety with Ru by mutilating yourselves. One of the most popular Ru sacrifices you can make is like cut off a hand. You can't use two-handed weapons. You can't use a shield. You can only use one ring, but it's worth like a ton of piety. And the abilities Ru gives you are quite strong. Strong enough that if he didn't cause you significant harm, he would be way too strong as a god. So that's sort of how they balanced it out. Give Ru powerful abilities, but you have to pay more in exchange for them than you would for other gods who just sort of like give you stuff basically for free. So there's this orc. I guess we try to get the stab. I'm worried there might be other orcs nearby. They often travel in packs, but it looks like we got away with it. Something down here. Okay. Looks like it's asleep. It's an adder. Got him. Okay. Wow, our first 3 mutations were all antennae. So like that's the cheapest mutation. The one you're most likely to get low is your body slot mutation. Getting all 3 of them first seems a little unlikely, but I guess I don't know. Okay, so Orc Priests. These are awful. They are a gigantic early game threat. So I would like to just get away from him. He's seen me, though. So this is why we learned Tsukima's dance. He's got a weapon. It's got a good chance to get him. Okay. And there's his axe floating through the air. I'm going to chase him down and try to kill him. In the meantime, though, I am going to... Oh my god, there's an orc wizard, too. Can we Tsukima him? We got him. So I'm just going to run away. These guys are... They mean business. I don't want to be... So the orc priest, his main deal is smiting. He can do, like, quite a bit of irresistible damage to you from anywhere. He just has to be able to see you. So... If I try to run away, he's going to get several turns to smite me before I can get out of line of sight. And I don't have any stairs to run to, really. So I think I'm kind of stuck. I have to fight him. Which means I want to move southwest here to get closer to him while also cutting off line of sight. Meanwhile, my dagger is fighting the orc wizard and my hand axe is fighting the orc priest. So I've got a shot here. So I'm going to step down here. Interestingly, he didn't move towards me. I don't know what that's about. He seems to still be right here. Is he fighting my dagger? Huh. Or my hand axe, I guess it would be. Okay, there he is. No, he was just trying to get a better angle on me, I guess. So what are my odds of confusing him? Not great. But there's no better use of my magic than confusing an orc priest, so here we go. Didn't work. So now we just gotta fight him. Hope the hand axe helps out. Alright. We got a stab. No, I guess we didn't get a stab. We just, together with my hand axe, we killed him. Are there more orcs there? Oh, that's real bad. What was I? I gotta get out of here. But there's nowhere to go. Ugh, okay, well, I know about lignification, and this should solve the problem. Yeah. Oh my god, but they're wizards. They can blink around, so if I turn into a tree, I can't chase them. And they can shoot fire at me, which, like, trees really hate fire. It's awful. So I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here. Could read some random scrolls. Try a different potion. I don't think just tabbing these guys is the answer. 3 Orc Wizards at level 5 is pretty rough. I could just try another potion. I could use Lignification. Not sure what to do. If I read a scroll, I might get like teleportation, which would be great. Because I don't want to be in this fight at all. I have a lot of potions. Like, one of them is going to be something I need, but am I going to get there in time? Like, if I found Might, I would be pretty happy, for example. Or Berserk Rage would probably be fine, too. The problem is Lignification is quite a commitment. You become a tree for a while, and you can't do much about it. And if they blink away and start shooting at you, it's pretty sad. You can still fight when you're a tree, but you can't move. I think I'm going to go with Lignification. There are so many orcs that I think at any given time, like, probably at least one of them will be close to me, and I can throw rocks if they're not. How do I even look up? Do trees have fire vulnerability? I think they do. I'm just going to look this up real quick. Okay, so they don't actually. They're not weak to fire. Okay. So them being far away would be bad, but it wouldn't be like a disaster. You get a big HP boost, you get big armor, so I'm gonna be a tree for this fight. Yeah, so see, we got like almost twice as much hit points, and our armor went up to 22 from like 4. We lost our EV. It's sort of hard to dodge when you're a tree, but the Orc Wizards are going to have a lot of trouble doing any damage to us. Apparently I can't hit them either. Jeez, what is the deal here? Wait, what is this? Why? Oh, ha ha ha! I can see invisible because I have antennae, but when I'm a tree, I am not. So there's this invisible Orc Wizard down here. Fine. So they've confused me now, which I don't appreciate at all. One of these Orc Wizards apparently has the confusion spell. Great. Well, now I'm not a tree anymore, and I killed one of these stupid wizards. And I'm confused. This is not good. I'm going to try some potions, look for curing. Alright, heal wounds, but that's not really what I needed. Curing. Alright, so now I'm not confused anymore, but they might confuse me at any moment. But I can try putting him to sleep? It's not very likely. I wish I knew which one were confusing me. Actually, I do know, because orcs... No, I guess I don't. They can have invisibility and confuse in the same book. What about haste? They can't have haste and confuse in the same book. And one of them is hasted, right? No. So that's one thing, like, I just looked up in the game about this monster. So Crawl doesn't want you to have to know things ahead of time in general. Most of the stuff in the game you can look up in the game, and it'll tell you. It's not supposed to be about like surprises or being spoiled by spoilers about how the game goes. It's supposed to be about tactics. So generally, not always, it's not perfect, but generally you can learn what you need to know by asking the game. It even tells me like how likely are you to put this guy to sleep and so on. So I could try this twice. And like it would work more often than not to kill one of them. I could try more random potions. I could try a scroll. I think while I'm not confused is a good time. Oh wait, one of them is invisible, right? What did I find out about invisibility? It might be in the same spell book as confused, and it might not be. All right. Well, I guess I'll put the other one to sleep because I don't care about invisibility, and this guy might have more important spells, plus he has a much better weapon. I got him! Great. Okay, so that's a big improvement. Big improvement in my situation. I'm going to back off now so that there's only one of them. I'm going to try putting this guy to sleep as well. Maybe that's a little optimistic, but it worked. My stab didn't kill him, but it did enough damage that I was able to finish him off. So now this orc, I can just pillar dance, basically. He's, which I explained in one of the earlier videos, is just like sort of run around until you get healed. He's not as big a threat. I couldn't do that with the wizards because they could shoot magic missiles at me and so on. I'm starving. All right, well, I'll eat in a second. You get pretty bad combat penalties when you're starving, so you don't want to fight while you're starving. But I had to cast a lot of spells in that combat, and it made me hungry. I think our spell casting is fine right now. I don't need any more, so I can save that experience for stuff that matters. Speaking of stuff that matters, I would like to learn some short blades. But I think hexes and stealth are still more important, so I'm going to work on them. What is this? Is this a shop? That's abandoned shop. Okay. So dagger's speed is great. It's +0, which is worse than our +1. But speed is more. It's well worth the downgrade, and we can probably enchant it up some more later. So zombies are kind of good foes to encounter as an enchanter. You can't put them to sleep, but they never make any noise. Or they're too dumb to shout anyway. Like, they might make noise when they hit you. And they're also kind of slow, so you can run away from them. An iguana is kind of scary. So you might have noticed in the panel on the right that has the monsters, the color they show up in is different. And that is associated with how difficult the game thinks they are for you right now. And it's not a perfect measure, but this guy's light gray, which is like the easiest the game can possibly say something is. All right, you guys gotta remind me. I know you can't, it's impossible, but I was looking for an upstairs. I'm not trying to explore this level. I found an upstairs, I gotta get out of here. I'm still trying to get back to Dungeon 3, which is where I should be. But I got shafted. So we're just looking for upstairs to get back to where things are sort of easy. Okay, so we got a new, we got some more intelligence when we leveled, and we got another Demonspawn mutation, which this one's called Powered by Pain. So basically, whenever I get hurt enough, something good happens to me. I think the 3 things that can happen are you get a potion of agility, or a potion of might, or brilliance, or you can get. So this looks like an altar vault, probably Zin if I had to guess. Yeah, just sort of looks like Zin. So he's another one of the good gods. You know, not to say it's strong necessarily, although he's reasonably strong. But sort of the holy trinity of, you know, the Bible gods. You know, the Christian gods. Sort of. They hate undead. You know, they think you should be nice to people. Well, Livalon thinks you should be nice to people. The Shining One is sort of a holy crusader kind of guy, and Zin is, I guess he's kind of Old Testament. He's, I don't know. I mean, I'm not much of a biblical expert, but, you know, Zin is all about order and purity, and he hates anything chaotic, basically. All right, so it looks like we made it back to Dungeon 3. There's an orc, but we can just take his weapon away, make it fight him, and all right. So we had a tough time there getting shafted, but we've come away from it, and we've come away from it quite a bit stronger because we killed several high-powered orcs. You know, we're not yet secure, but I feel sort of comfortable just not exactly holding down tab here, but fighting pretty carelessly with some of the low-level chaff. This orc is wielding a club. Okay, well, I'll just try to stab him. Yeah, okay. Okay, there. So we're done with Dungeon 3. So now that we, got back there, it was so much easier. This hound is kind of a threat. I'd like to stab him. Great. So this is telling me the fact that we're stabbing enemies and still not killing them tells me that we need more damage output. And the amount of damage you do in a stab is determined by basically your short blades and your stealth. And you know, your weapon enchantment and so on. Like a better dagger will do more damage. But this tells me that I need to start training short blades now. I'm going to let hexes hit level 5, and then if I remember, I'll turn it off. You know, hopefully I remember. Gnolls. So I saw one earlier. I forgot about him already. I saw this gnoll. I walked away, and then I walked back like an idiot. Gnolls are pretty threatening. They are one of the biggest early game killers, like adders. They're slightly stronger than adders, and you run into them later. They tend to run in packs, and they have... Sometimes they have quite strong weapons. So I'm just going to run away. That's... You know, I could probably fight that gnoll if he was by himself. And wow! A Lagitang, really? So that's a kind of weapon. It's like a staff with 2 kind of scythe blades on each end. It's quite strong and requires not a very large experience investment. So might be worth considering using that instead. You don't get the stab bonuses, not nearly as big stab bonuses, but it's just like a way better weapon. On the other hand, we're Rue, and I'm sort of hoping to sacrifice a hand at some point. It's a very good value for your sacrifice. And Lagitang is a 2-handed weapon, so I don't really want to commit to that. And I could do that before I invest any experience in short blades. And short blades are not a great weapon skill or school, like unless you're going heavily into hexes. And in the late game, I would like to transition into a Lagitang anyway, honestly. Maybe I just take it and I give up on sacrificing a hand. And instead of training short blades, I train staves. Staves? I never know. Okay, so I guess right now our dagger is still better. I'm going to train staves so that it gets better. Dithmenos. So that's another god who would have been great for us to worship if we hadn't found Rue already. He's like sort of the god of stealth and sneaking around. So I see several other gnolls. I can't see that these are gnolls, but they're moving around in the same place as a gnoll. So, and this gnoll doesn't have a weapon. The other one had a spear. So I know there's at least 2 gnolls, which is like, that's like 2 gnolls too many. This one is fairly weak. He has no weapon, and I can isolate him. So I'm going to just kill him and then run up the stairs before that other gnoll finds me. So this is an approach you can use to isolate groups, is use stairs. Go up one staircase, come down another, and you find another section of the level. What? There's a gnoll, probably 2 gnolls here. Right? I saw a gnoll wielding a club. I saw a gnoll wielding a whip. Okay, so I think I get this guy's attention and run away. Yeah, I'll have like 5 chances to put him to sleep, so that should work. And he didn't make any noise, so his friend isn't following him. Where did he go? Huh. I'm too stealthy. He forgot where I am. Great. And there's a third gnoll wielding a flail. Uh-oh, I backed myself into a corner here. Ugh. Okay, got him. I just realized I spent a little while there not really talking. And you know, that's something that I've made a few videos before, not a lot, and that's something that, you know, you just have to get used to. get used to sort of talking all the time. Nobody wants dead air. And that was a difficult tactical situation that I would have liked to be explaining, and I should have been, because I kill it. Like, I can just stop. I can stop playing and say, here's what's going on. But I was trying to go through it sort of quickly, and I couldn't manage. I just don't have the brain power to do that while also describing what's going on. So I guess the right answer would have been to play a little bit more slowly and describe what's going on. So, but like, a lot of how we're fighting is basically the same all the time, right? We're trying to put guys to sleep. We're trying to isolate guys. Wow! This is a disaster. Oh my god. What the hell happened? I came down some different stairs. 3 orcs, an orc wizard, and an ogre, and then an orc priest. So, alright, the ogre hit me with a giant club. That's what did all the damage. The magic dart did a little, the orc, you know, but ogres are a big threat. The orc priest is a big threat, but he's far away. So I think I'm just going back up the stairs here, man. I gotta get out of this. The problem is all these guys are gonna follow me. And, you know, I could die doing that, but I don't really have any better options. I guess I could quaff heal wounds. But that opens me up to getting hit by the priest, which could do a lot of damage. So I'm going to go upstairs. I don't know if the ogre is probably going to get a turn. All right. I made it upstairs. And I'm no longer adjacent to the ogre. So I'm going to quaff a potion of heal wounds. I really almost died there, as you can certainly see. How are my odds of confusing that guy? They're all right. That's... but Tukima's dance should be much better, right? That's how I'm going to kill this guy. Yeah, now he has no club. He's much less threatening. And his club is going to attack the other enemies. And him. So I'm going to put the orc to sleep. Put the other orc to sleep. And me and this giant club are going to team up on the ogre. See, here's where I'm playing a little too quickly. At any moment, this ogre could kill me. I think he does enough damage. Like, he could roll 9. Right? So now this is like something that's not in-game. The exact numbers that enemies can do. But you can look them up fairly easily. So his maximum damage is like 17. Oh my god. I'm sort of hoping that this giant club and I can kill him before something bad happens. But I really should try Confuse first, I guess. It didn't work. And he missed me. I would like to run away, but my spell power is so low that this... I was going to turn off hexes when it hits 5. That this giant club is slow, and so the ogre would actually outrun it. So I kind of have to stand still if I want the giant club to help, which means I'm just going to have to, you know, YOLO it. And we got him. So ogres are worth a lot of experience, but as you saw, they're quite dangerous. Okay, so that's a bad staircase. We don't want to go back down here. But we could do like this staircase. There's just a knoll there, right? Yeah. And he's even sort of wandered away a bit. This guy has a spear, which is a reaching weapon. He can hit you from a tile away. Which means I don't want him to have it. Get up there and go get him, spear. Yeah, so that's... Tukima's dance is very powerful. It takes away the main thing that a lot of enemies use to deal damage. You know, animals it doesn't help with. See, there I got careless. I got hit by a knoll when I didn't realize he had a pole arm. But if you can just Tukima them, like, knolls are a lot easier. And that ogre, like, I can Tukima him now. Although there's a spear in the way, I have to wait for it to fall down. But I'm at low health. I don't want to fight this ogre, even with no weapon, at this kind of health. So I'm going to go back upstairs and find the third staircase, which I think is reasonably clear now. Okay, there's this ant. Fine. I never found a blowgun, did I? No, those are very strong early, but I don't have one. Okay. Yeah, so we still don't... Come on, die. We still don't really have enough short blades to get strong stabs, and since we're sort of going towards this Lajatang, we might never be getting great stabs, but Lajatangs do a lot of damage, and we don't have to get necessarily sleep stabs. We can still use like Confuse and whatever. Something that new players have trouble with is they get too focused on their background, what they were before they got to the dungeon, and just try to make that dictate their playstyle for the rest of the game. But most good characters are not so single focus. You kind of want to branch out eventually. Like even, you know, fighters who start with heavy armor, like they want to learn some spells eventually, and you know, not high level stuff like Fireball, but simple stuff like Stone Skin or whatever to make themselves a little bit tougher in combat. And likewise, spellcasters want to be proficient with a weapon, so they don't have to spend magic on everything. They can save their magic for the more dangerous foes. So the fact that we are an enchanter doesn't mean we're committed all game to getting stabs. There's lots of ways we can win. So that's why I'm hoping this Lajatang is going to... Alright, so we got his weapon and we confused him. Should be a piece of cake. So Lajatangs don't get stabs nearly as well as daggers, but I'm alright with that, I think. I'm not really sure if this is a good plan, but it's the plan I have, is to start using this Lajatang pretty soon, because it's just so much better as a weapon than a dagger is. And our Hex's spellbook does not depend exclusively on stabs. It's sort of oriented towards stabs, but it's not the only way you can go. Tukima's Dance is useful even if you're just hitting dudes with... I don't have anything cursed on, do I? No. All right. Okay, so here we go. We got our first interaction with our god. Every so often, Rue is just going to say, hey, I think you could make a new sacrifice. And he offers us some choices. And we can choose which one to sacrifice, or none of them. And if you sacrifice some, you get some piety, and Rue will give you perhaps some new abilities if you get enough piety. And if you choose no sacrifices, Rue is going to be kind of disappointed, and he's going to wait a while before he offers you a new sacrifice. So we can sacrifice durability, which is basically our armor. We can never train armor, which I'm kind of okay with. We're going to be casting spells, and hopefully we can learn some spells that give us armor without having to train armor. We can sacrifice nimbleness, and so we can ask, what is durability? And it says you can't train armor, basically. We can sacrifice nimbleness, which says you can't train dodging. I am not comfortable with that at all. Or we can sacrifice artifice, which means like you can't use magical items, wands, rods. You can use scrolls and potions still. You can't use like a lamp of fire and so on. And that's generally regarded as a pretty dangerous sacrifice to take. I'm going to take durability. All of these are kind of going to hurt our character, but the thing with Rue is you really need to take sacrifices. Like any sacrifice that won't completely ruin your character, you know, take the biggest one, because Rue's abilities are very strong. You want to get them as soon as possible. Otherwise, you're just like a character with no abilities who's made some sacrifices that make him a little weaker. It's really not good. So I'm going to sacrifice my armor skill, yeah. So up in the top right, we now have 1 star of piety with Rue, and you can get up to 6. And we don't have any new active abilities, but we have this passive ability that enemies who would attack us sometimes just don't. We're scary, I guess. So that's a big help. And wow, like, am I glad I have antennae or what? Like, this area, man. I don't know what the deal is over there. Okay, so this actually... It's kind of weird that there's nothing on this side. Is this killer bees? Is it rats? Like, there's no way that's orcs, right? This is weird. Almost whatever it is, I don't want to mess with it right now. Just because there's so many monsters. And, you know, there's some experience, but you can die, like, nothing comes for free. What's with all these undead centaurs? That's what I want to know. Basic undead, like zombies and skeletons, they don't have health bars like most monsters do. Rather, anytime you do damage to them, they lose max hit points. So you sort of can't tell when they're about to die, but also they don't heal up ever. So, yeah, what the hell? This is completely enclosed. There's no way in without digging. So unless I had antennae, I couldn't possibly know there was something in there to get. So now I'm pretty curious. What is the deal there? Like, is there some valuable artifact in there? Are there stairs there from level 5 back up to level 4 that would let me in, like here, maybe? I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if I really want to try to get in there or not. An orc priest, no weapon, okay. Several orcs. I'm really glad I've got this stealth. Because, alright, so these guys are scary. Go to sleep, please, go to sleep. Right, we got him. Yeah, I don't know what that... I mean, that's obviously some kind of special vault down there. The dungeon doesn't randomly generate crap like this. But we've seen all 3 staircases. So every level has 3 staircases up and 3 staircases down. We've seen all the upstairs. And we've seen 3 downstairs. Sometimes there's like escape hatches that are one-way hatches that let you out somewhere at random on the level. But there can't be an escape hatch into this vault. So, like, the only way in is through digging, which is not very common. I'm really interested in this, and so I'm just going to make a note. Diggable vault with monsters. And that'll be in my dungeon overview screen, so I don't forget about it later. I can go back sometime and check it out. And now that we've cleared Dungeon 3 and Dungeon 4, you know, that took a while. I think this is a reasonable time to call the video. I'm probably going to take a break and get something to eat. But I'll be back with this character, you know, in the next video, which for you should be hardly any time at all. I hope you've been enjoying, and I'll see you next time.